What's up, everybody? Torn Cowboys Boots here, back again to you. What if Asta was trained by Goku, part 29. Last time we left. Well, before I get to the recap, let me say two things. First, there's a link to my Discord in the description below, and a link to one of my thumbnail artists' YouTube channel, the one who helped me update the thumbnail for this What If. So yeah. With that, let's get to the recap. Now, last time we left off, Asta and Yuno were fighting began their fight with Lit. And it went same way as in canon, but more evenly matched. Because we have a stronger Asta, but because of that, he was a little more off-putted by Lit's presence. Unable to accurately sense his ki, as well as him being half asleep, but mostly because of he could sense Lit was hesitating for some reason, and he kept this to himself. And the other change is he purposely made Lit think he knocked him out in that bed of water, over that giant bed of water, which was in the floating rock base, or whatever it was called. He waited there just for the right time to charge up a Kamehameha, and right as he was absorbing Yuno's monozone spirit storm spell, also use instant transmission to move right in front of Yuno and unleash a Kamehameha, which caught Lit off guard a little bit, and he used the Demon Destroyer Sword to block the attack by flooding it with a whole bunch of magic, of his own magic, which knocked it out of Lit's hands and into Asta's. Which after that, Lit was just unleashing the stored up magic he absorbed into the Demon Dweller Sword. He absorbed from Yuno's magic, his spells, and all that. And that's pretty much it for the recap. Let's get to the video, starting now. As we start the story off with Asta telling Yuno to grab onto his shoulder while he puts his finger up to his head, while the beam of wind spirit magic from the Demon Dweller Sword, the huge beam, flies straight at them. Right before it hits, he uses instant transmission to teleport to instantly move to Mimosa, who is still in the hideout, and tells her to grab on, and all three of them teleport again and got the heck out of there, which he locked onto Noelle's key then, which she's with Nozel, and which surprises both of them right as they appeared out of nowhere. The huge explosion in the background as the huge beam of wind spirit magic pierces the giant floating rock and causes an explosion on the other side of it. Causes a huge explosion on the surface of, you get what I mean. After that, all the royal knights who haven't turned into elves gather up with Cole Maskai and Meliona, who's still unconscious, might I add. Tries Nozel, after they regroup and gathered information, and somewhat treat injuries. The sword Asta has, the Demon Destroyer Sword, starts vibrating and starts floating up flies right into the demon, into the five-leaf clover grimoire. Turning as flying into it turns black, which Asta briefly remembers seeing that the sword was originally black from his perspective when um, Lit pick right as Lit was picking it up before their fight started. Asta tried to figure out what. Then he reaches into it and pulls it back out again. Surprising that it became one of his sword. Became an anti-magic sword. He worries about that later, but Nozel pulls out that same magic item that restores everyone's stamina and injuries. But still, no. As they regroup, gather information about, well, trade information on what's happening. Um, as they see the hideout's now moving. Now the Eye of Midnight Sun hideout is now moving and heading straight for the capital. Which then Nozel said, then the row Asta and everyone who hasn't turned tries to follow it. It heads towards the capital. Try to get to the capital first. As they're heading towards the capital, they pass by Hodge Village. Both Asta and speak up saying that they say that says that there's an elf in Hodge Village. Nozel tells them they can do whatever they want. They jump off and head towards Sausage Village while the others head towards the capital. While they get Asta and get there sooner, and before the Magic Knight, who was turned into an elf with his poison plant magic, can affect even more. Asta uses Demon Slayer sword to take out most of the poison plant constructs that are spreading the poison, and knocks the guy out. Instantly moves behind him and knocks him right out right away, which shocks and the people who are still conscious, the villagers who are still conscious, and that includes Sister Lily. But the father, I forgot his actual name, but yeah, still gets poisoned. Asta tries to use Demon Slayer sword, but doesn't work. Then he pulls out the Demon Destroyer sword, which then starts to reverse the effects of everyone who is poisoned. As this is happening, he thinks this sword has the power to do that? Negate the after effects of magic? Interesting. He starts yelling, saying, "Oh, that's awesome! Oh, I'm glad I have this." Asta says that, but then, says, but before, tries to mention anything, Asta thinks, wait. He tried using his. He remembers back when he tried to use his Demon Slayer sword to try to reverse what happened to. What's his name? The Aqua Deer's captain with picture magic with the Demon Slayer sword, but it didn't work. He goes up to the young conscious elf with the Demon's Destroyer sword and tries to see if it will work on him. Which, as he press the sword against him, it actually, to Asta's surprise and Yuno's and the sister and pretty much the village and the father, he reverts back to normal. Asta, which goes to professor mode, saying, "It seems like your sword can even cancel out the reincarnation magic. It's a good thing." Which then the guy wakes up saying that the elf didn't even want this, didn't truly want this to happen. They both, Asta and decide to go their separate ways because they're heading to the capital with the extra help with the poison plant magic user. He tells tells the guy to go with disagrees, but then Asta makes a good point because he doesn't have uh, uh, the ability to, well, reverse the reincarnation magic, so he's gonna need help knocking, or at least subduing the elves, so he helps subdue the elves without permanently injuring them or killing them. So yeah, Asta wins that argument, so they both separate. Asta heads straight towards the direction where he sent a familiar key, lots of 3 familiar keys, and yeah, now we change our perspective to Magna. Just like in canon, both Magna and Vanessa saw the huge magic rock fly over them and over the village that they were near, which then they see something flying off that, which was Luck, and starts attacking the village, which he starts, elf possessed Luck. As their fight starts, both Magna's actually having a better time since he actually trained a little bit, learned a little bit from Asta and Yami about Ki. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back into the later parts and you see where I mentioned he learned a little bit of Ki off and on. Yeah, so yeah. As Magna tries to actually hit Luck, which he was actually somewhat fast enough to keep up with him for a minute two, but every time he tried to hit the elf Luck, Vanessa's thread magic, Rouge, the red cat of fate or whatever, stops him, which it stops elf Luck from doing it. And sorry if you hear noise in the background, that's my dog won't shut up. Damn it. But yeah. Goes somewhat to canon right before Luck knocks out, somewhat subdues Vanessa, which subdues Rouge, the cat. Right before he can kill Magna, Asta swoops in an instant, grabbing Magna and Vanessa before Elf Luck killed everyone. Which Elf Luck starts to go crazy, and Asta, without you going into his black form, flies straight at Elf Luck, who who's getting more and more mentally unstable because this guy is able to keep up with him and preventing him from killing any of the humans. Which, just like somewhat like in canon, Asta pins Elf Luck down, but then Luck starts fizzing out of control, sparking out of control with with bunches of lightning magic going all over the place. Magna and Vanessa wake up as they try to pin Luck down and try to tell him to wake up. Help Asta pin him down. Which then Asta was able to finally use the Demon Destroyer sword on Luck to reverse the reincarnation magic. After that, Rouge used her. Vanessa used her magic to change events to where Luck kicks Magna and and everything goes similar, but then Asta explains what's happening to all three of them, which they're both Vanessa and Magna can see the problems into the things that are unfolding. They can see that it's extremely deep in the red of what's happening. As for Luck, he's just excited that he has an excuse to fight his own comrades now. After that, all four of them head towards. Well, he tells the three to grab onto him, and he instant transmissions to the Black Bull's hideout, which they find in ruins. Well, in a pile of rubble. As that happens, Gauche, what's his name? Mime and Gray. I forgot what their names are. Too many names in Black Clover. Basically, Mime Guy and Shy Girl with transformation magic are excited, or somewhat excited that the Asta's back. In which then, what's his name? Slow talking guy appears, which Asta thought everyone knew about him. Asta explains who that is, and then those three tell him what happened to the place. They tell him the Eye of Midnight Sun came, and then yeah, and that's where we're gonna. Guys, hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget down in the description a link to my channel and my thumbnail artist's What If channel. He has some pretty interesting content, so yeah. And sorry for the cliffhanger, or leaving off where I left it. I lost track of the time, so yeah. See you guys next time. Bye.